All right, you guys ready for next storyteller? All right, big round of applause for Jesse Wursel. Come on, one more time for Jesse. Go crazy. There we go. Hey.
So I was peer pressured to become a follower of Jesus when I was 15 years old. When I got into high school, believe it or not, I had trouble making friends because I didn't know which group I belonged to. So eventually I ran into these guys who were like second tier popular. They were like the guitar players, the soccer players, the class clowns. And all the girls thought they were really cute and funny. So I was honored when they asked me to be part of their group. But it just so happened that they were very, very, very Christian. And after a few months of hanging out, they invited me to their youth group, and I would go to socialize and flirt with the girls. And then afterwards, we'd all go to Burger King to hang out. So one night, we're at Burger King, I'm throwing away my trash, and I turn around, and all my friends have surrounded me. And one of them steps forward and says, "Are you saved?" Now, I didn't know what this meant, so I kind of responded with, "I don't think so." And he said, "Well, we don't want you to go to hell." So before I know it, we're at my house in my basement. These guys have their hands on me, and they're praying over me. The thing is, I never grew up in a very religious household, and I didn't really want to be a Christian, but I felt if I didn't do this, these guys wouldn't be my friends. So I reluctantly became a fake Christian. Now, being a fake Christian is a lot of work, but boy, did I sell it. I started going to church all the time. I joined the youth group band. I went on a mission trip to the Czech Republic. And these false set of beliefs followed me into college. I ended up going to a small conservative Christian college in Indiana. And when I got there, I realized that this place owned me. I had to sign a purity agreement. I agreed not to use any tobacco products. I couldn't drink, couldn't do any drugs, couldn't have premarital sex, but it was already too late for that. You couldn't be gay or you'd get kicked out. You couldn't watch R-rated movies. And the weirdest rule of all, there was no dancing. Now, these rules were enforced very strictly to scare the hell, literally, not only out of the students, but out of the faculty. They actually fired my resident director, who was well over 21, who had a kid and who was married, because he admitted to having a beer over Thanksgiving break. He felt so guilty, he actually turned himself in. Now, prior to Christianity and religion and going to the school, I didn't need religion to tell me what was right from wrong. I was a pretty good kid. I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs, I didn't smoke. I never had curfew until I went to college. Monday through Thursday, I had to sign in at the front desk of the dorm by 10 p.m. Friday, I had to be in by 1 a.m., sorry. And Saturday, I can only stay out till midnight because they wanted you to get up early and go to church the next day. And in addition to this, I had to go to chapel services 3 times a week for an entire semester. And if you missed 3 a semester, you'd have to go to the chapel office, listen to a sermon on tape, and write a report. And if you didn't do this, you wouldn't graduate. And to top it all off, everyone was required to take a class called World Changers. For an entire semester, you were taught how to evangelize to the outside community and bring them to Jesus. And I thought, this is great, because now I was in a Christian band, because of course I was. And I thought we could start booking shows at local bars and like witnessing to the town drunkards, which we did. And I started promoting those shows all over campus with flyers, which didn't sit well with the dean of students. I'm called into his office, and he accuses me of promoting underage drinking. And if I don't stop booking these shows and promoting them, I will be expelled. And this was, I got so infuriated because it was so hypocritical. And that point was the moment of my fall from grace. I started rebelling. I started smoking cigarettes. I started drinking. I started thinking, hey, it's okay to have sex again, right? And I started writing like protest songs against the school and everything it stood for. And when graduation came, I didn't partake in the ceremony because I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. And so years later, after I graduated, I'm still living this fake Christian lifestyle, but I am feeling like a phony because for 17 years, I've lived this lie because I never believed in this stuff, and I knew I never would. So I decided to leave my faith behind. But before I do my research because I know my decision is going to piss off a lot of people. So I read all the C.S. Lewis books. I reread the Bible again, forward and back. I watch a lot of documentaries. And I realized that I'm actually in love with science. And for the first time, I had friends in the LGBTQ community. And after hearing story after story about how their Christian families had disowned them for their lifestyle and orientation, that was it for me. I threw in the towel and I said, no more. I put my faith aside and I never looked back. Thank you. Thanks. And when I finally let go of my faith and I made that decision, I felt the guilt and the fear of feeling like I was always going to make a bad decision totally went away because I was free and I could start living life on my own terms because it was no longer dictated by ancient texts or fear or following the rules of that purity agreement. Thank you.